It is me, the Bolt. Today, we'll be looking at the 116th Panzer. I've been using this for quite some time, and I gotta say it is probably my favorite German battle group after the 20th Panzer. It might become a new one, I don't know. It's just great. Lots of tanks, lots of mechanized troops. The infantry is lacking, but if you manage to balance out your purchases during the game or your deployment, this will definitely be a really strong deck to play with in any situation. But yeah, we'll go through it, and after that I will be going through my battle group that I have built. And the code for this will also be down in the description. There will be a link leading you guys to an Excel or Google document with all of my battle group codes in there. So yeah, check it out and have fun. But yeah, let's start off with the Recon. So first of all, we have this Bmw Recon unit, actually a two-man squad here with an MG34, well, two-man motorbike team, I guess. Yeah, it's a really fast and good Recon. This is not my favorite, but it is there. We have the Aufklären, a two-man team with MP40s, exceptional stealth and very high optics, so good for flanking around. We have the half-track with the 75mm gun, which seems to fire on its own. There's actually no one in it. You know, those are little things, don't worry about it. But yeah, it's an HE cannon, so it cannot do any damage to armor, and I don't think, even though it might like fire at them, but it will only do suppression and not actual penetration, if that makes sense. We have the Speertruppen, four-man squad, coming in a wide variety of vehicles, including half-tracks with guns. So if you do get these units, think about the vehicles, because certain vehicles have better stealth than others, and you can just check that by going into the vehicle tab here. So yeah, four-man team, decent loadout. We got the SPW234/1 with the 20mm autocannon that can fire at tanks and at infantry, and also has an MG42. So good fire support vehicle, that's for sure. But yeah, stealth is very bad. High optics though, so don't expect to flank around the entire enemy lines with this thing if they have any sort of units there. We also have this variant of it with the 75mm, and this one does have AP rounds in it. So with the AP, it does 55 damage or penetration, not too bad. With the heat, it's 75, but both have pretty horrible accuracy. But yeah, it's more of a fire support role if you do, you know, decide to engage anything with this. We got the Panzer IV-J, 75mm gun on this, very powerful, 135mm pen, good front armor on this tank as well. And yeah, it's pretty cool. These Panzer IVs are definitely one of my favorite tank lines. We also have the Big Daddy Panther D with the 185mm gun, 75mm turret on that, or gun on it. Really good front armor. The rest is basically the same as any other tank, sadly. But yeah, really good cannon. This guy is just a beast. And you get 3 of these guys in Phase B, lowest vet. So pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, infantry is where it's kind of lacking. So we have Ersatztruppen, which you could use, but actually, oh wait a minute, they changed it up. So now you can actually get them into the Opel Blitz, because before they spawned without a vehicle, which is really bad. But yeah, we got some Ersatztruppen, Felt Gendarmerie, military police, four-man team with MP40s. Loads of vehicles to choose out of once again, so you can get these STKF sets with the 75mm, AP and or HE, or you can get the ones with the pack 37mm, which is probably what I would go for, or you can go with the half-tracks with a gun. So yeah, we have the Panzergrenadier Führer, once again a four-man team, good leader unit to have. You get 3 of these in A phase. Pioneers are really good, but you gotta think about it. In this deck, you're being punished for getting any infantry, meaning they cost a lot of activation points. So if you do get something, go for the higher numbers, and probably want to go for the lowest vet if you're planning on using your armor to support your infantry. If not, you might want to go for mid vet or have leaders really close, pretty much everywhere. Pioneer leaders, speaking of, we got those dudes here as well. Lots of vehicles. We also have the Panzergrenadiers, Führers. These guys are the Panzerfaust. Pretty good leaders, actually. I've had some kills with leaders with the Panzerfaust. So yeah, the Panzergrenadiers is definitely the backbone of this deck. You can get 9 on the lowest vet in A phase, 18 on lowest vet in B phase. So that is pretty substantial. Yeah, really good infantry, MP40s and 2 MG42s and a K98. Like, that is all you need, really. They do come in the half-tracks, so that's a win. And in A phase, there's even more vehicles. So that's also something you should consider. We have the Sturm Pioneers, definitely important in later phases, I would say. In A phase, you only get 4, and that takes, well, an entire card or an entire slot. So, in my opinion, not worth it in A phase, but yeah, there it is. MP40s, 5 of these, really good to have. It's only a 6-man squad though, but with a flamethrower in there, they will definitely do a lot of damage, and these are one of the best flamethrower infantry. They basically go par on par with the Russian ones. We got the Panzergrenadier with the Panzerfaust this time, so that is the main difference between these guys and the regular Panzergrenadiers. And these come in a wide variety of vehicles as well. What this deck is most, well, the best at is armor. So we have these Panzer 3Ls, really cheap tanks with an amazing gun. So it only has a 50 mil, but because of its APCR it does 150 mil penetration. With the AP it still does 100. So if you guys keep these supplied, they will wreck face. Once 50 mil, like if it has a direct hit on a really early Soviet tank, it'll probably kill it or have a lot of criticals. 60% accuracy as well. Like, it's absolutely insane. One of my favorite early games. They are basically snipers. We got the Panzer 4J, and as you can see, the main difference here is a slightly better front armor, but weaker tank gun in terms of penetration. It does have a higher caliber, but it does less penetration than the Panzer 3L because of its lack of APCR. But still 135. Really good. 40% accuracy, less than the Panzer 3L once again, and the rate of fire is the same for both of these, and both come with the MG34, so yeah, really cheap but really good tanks. Panzer 4H, the main difference being, let's just see actually, it's 10 points more for what seems like absolutely nothing in terms of stats. Is that correct? Yep, seems like it. Now that is interesting. The traverse speed is different. Yeah, that's the thing with the gun. So the gun can turn faster with these guys. That's the only difference there. So that is a good detail though. Like if you're fighting in a town, you probably want to turn corners really well and engage either tanks or infantry. Like if you're in a forest, you want to be able to quickly turn towards your target and fire. So yeah, for the 10 points, is it worth it? I don't know. 10 points is a lot, especially in early game. We got the Panzer 4H Führer as well, basically the same thing but a leader. And now the Panther A's, really beautiful looking tanks. Really good gun on this. You can get 2 of them in A phase, which I usually do. 45% accuracy, 185 mil pen, 130 front armor. It's just great. And you get 3 cards of these. We also have the Panzer A Führer, so you could get 3 of these in A phase, and together with the Recon Panzer, or Panther, sorry, you get 4 in A phase. With just having 1 of these, you could get all of them in A phase, but that's not worth it. We also have 7 cards of Panther Gs. Like, what is that about? This basically has the mother of all tank guns. 250 mil pen on the 75 with the APCR rounds, and that drops to 185, which is still really good. 130 mil front armor. That is the only difference between the Panther and the G. The gun is just better. That's about it. Well, it has APCR rounds, so that is about it. And they cost the same. So, yeah, you do get less of the Gs, more of the As. What you could possibly do, I guess, is keep the As in the front and engage with the Gs from the back to snipe and soak up with the As. But they're all really good at killing anything. We got the Panther G Führer as well, and that basically gives you 9 cards of Panther Gs. Absolutely nuts. In the support tab, we have the 2-man teams of flamethrowers. You guys probably know all about the vehicles you can choose out of in this battle group, so yeah, have a look at those. Panzer 3N, good assault gun. I really don't use assault guns enough. I probably like use the grills or the flame half tracks, but not really these tank assault guns. I kind of find them a waste of points, although they do have really good blast. But like the 30 points for 20 more points, you can just get a proper tank. But that's just me. We got the IG-18, you can get 2 cards of these really early on in the game as well. Really good fire support. And they are basically doing the same amount of suppression and blast as the Panzer IIIN for 5 more points. They're probably much more stealthy. Yeah, they have good stealth. So, and it's easier to move these guys around. You can put them in force and such. MG42, good fire support. Not many words needed. 3 cards of supplies. We got the Panzer IV F1, once again a support gun or an assault gun. Does absolutely not much more damage. It does do more penetration, but in terms of suppression and blast, it is exactly the same. If we go into the HE, so it's 176, 2500 versus 176, 2500. Flame half tracks, heavy flamethrower, really interesting to use these actually. I've used these against Soviet infantry, and it seems to be a really good counter against enemy flamethrowers. We got the Grill, one of my favorite assault guns. It just one-shot stuns or kills anything, really. AT guns, AA, infantry, you name it, and it tears down the building. Multi-tier munition, so this is the main difference here between these dudes. The multi-tier munition is slower off-road, which in my opinion does not make sense because it has half tracks, and slower on-road, but it carries 500 more supply, so that could, I guess, be the reason for its lower speed. But yeah, you can get 6 of these in B phase, lowest VET, 4 of these on B phase, lowest VET, because it doesn't matter. Is it worth it? Yeah. I don't know. It depends, I guess. I usually go for the Opel Blitz, but yeah. I mean, how much more do you get? You get 60,000 supplies with this guy and 60 with this, so it doesn't actually make a difference. So in A phase we have the, where did it go? We have this 250, well basically this half track commander. Usually I get an A phase commander, but in this case I think I went for the B phase, since, well, you get another Panzer IV H out of it, but the most importantly is you have most of your units in B phase, your stronger units. So you're probably not even going to get a commander in A phase. And it's just better to have it resilient, I guess, and be flexible enough to move with your tanks. You also have the really expensive 250 point Panther A commander. I mean, if you have a ton of points to spare, you could get this, but 250 points is a lot. For that, you can almost get 2 Panther Gs. In the anti-tank, we have the Panzer Büchse 41. I've actually seen a documentary of this thing, it's pretty cool. But yeah, 28mm APCR rounds, 100mm penetration at 1000 meters range, and 60% accuracy. Really accurate, really fast firing, good for ambushes, not so much against like tanks in the open, you could say. Panzerschreck teams, 2-man teams, just really good to use. I usually use these in like breakthrough mode, playing as the defenders. We got the Marder 3 tank destroyer, 105mm gun, well actually 76mm gun with a 105 penetration. Really good suppression and blast as well with the HE rounds. I don't know if they actually fixed it, because before I couldn't use these as like howitzers, but hopefully they did this time, because these guys can fire indirectly, if that makes sense. Marder 2s, Pack 40 on top instead of a Zis 3, 75mm with 190mm pen, drops down to 145 with the AP, really good anti-tank. We also have the Stug 3, basically Stug. Good gun. I mean, a 75mm AP is gonna definitely do some damage, and you can get 2 of these in A phase, so instead of getting Panzer IVs, you could perhaps get some Stug 3s. Good front armor as well for an early on tank destroyer. Pack 40s, you can get 2 cards of these Pack 40, 75mm, really good penetration, once again 190, dropping down to 145, one of my favorite AT guns in this game. And last, you have the Jagd Panzer IV. I have not used this guy that much, especially in this deck, since you have tanks that are better than this in general. Like the Panther A has better stats than this. So yeah, I don't know if it's worth it, but the option is there. In the anti-air tab, quite a lot of AA actually, surprisingly. So we have the Flak 38, 20mm. You can get quite a lot of these in A phase. Möbelwagen, really good AA. It definitely can snipe planes pretty quickly, especially on like veteraned up. And then we have the STKFZ 7-1 flak fueling. And all of these do 2000 damage, and a Mirvielnichtsein is 2500. So yeah, definitely get this. Artillery, we have the artillery observer, we have leaders, 81mm mortars, 120mm mortars, get the 120s, they just are better in general. You do get more of the 81s obviously. We have the half tracks with the 81mm mortars in it, so good for maneuverability. 105mm howitzers and 100mm howitzers. They do about the same suppression and blast. For 5 mils you're not going to get that much more. So here I would just pay attention to how many you get, and you get more of the French howitzers. So go for those. We also have the STKFZ, what is this? Artillery, no, I was gonna say off map, but this is a mortar, once again, 81mm, but it has a radio. So this guy, if it is on the front, it will actually create that sphere in which these guys will be very accurate. Speaking of off map, we have the 105mm off map and also the 150mm off map with the cool periscope kind of thing there. Panzerwerfers, you can get 2 cards of these, which is really good, especially in this deck if you're trying to dislodge the enemy from their position. Get Panzerwerfers. 150mm howitzers as well. You can get quite a few of these in C phase actually. The Hummel, basically the same as the 150, same exact stats, but self-propelled. And the mother of all off map, the 380mm. It's pretty gross, I'll be honest. Ju-87 Recon, pretty fast. I mean, not the fastest, but decent Recon to use. 340 kilometers per hour, 2 30 cals, well, 7.92 mils on the wings, and 1 turret in the back there. You get 2 of these guys versus 1 of these ME-109s in A phase. So probably go for JUs, since I usually get 1 card of Recon planes only, and usually in A phase. We have the Stukas here, the D3 with 4 50 kilogram bombs and 2 7.92s on the wings, and once again the turrets. And we also have the same thing, but with 1 500 kilogram bomb, and I recommend this one, that's for sure. B, you can get 4 of these on the mid-fat. I think they've made some adjustments to these, so that's pretty good. ME-109 G6, good fighter, definitely decent. You can get 3 in A phase mid-fat, single 20mm and 2 13mm. We also have the 109 G6 R6 with 2 gun pods just underneath the wings, 1 20mm on the nose and 2 13mm on the nose as well. And you can possibly, I would probably get this in B phase or C phase and not go for any later than that. Standard defenses, you can set them up if you want to. We're going to be looking at our own battle group, so here it is. Yeah, it's quite refreshing that they made some of those changes, I think, so that's good. So the Recon tab, we do have quite a lot of Recon. We have 4 of these Aufklären to do the sneaky flanks in the rear. They come in the motorbike, since the motorbike is the most stealthy vehicle. We have the 2 Panzer IV Js in A phase, 3 Panther Ds in B phase. You can probably get away with 1 of these, but I went for 3 just to get more Panthers. In the infantry tab, we have Pioneers in these STKFZ 7s. Now do keep in mind that the vehicle speed is different for half tracks. Now this guy, for instance, road speed of 55, this guy is 80. So get the STKFZ 10 if you want to be quick, and that's what I've put these guys in. The Pioneers come in the STKFZ 7 because it has a weapon, and those guys will be up on the front later. And these STKFZ 10s are really quick, and these will be rushing towards the town to try to stop it and hold it with the Panzerfaust that they got. We also have the Panzer Grenadiers in the half track with the MG42 on it, and all of these are in the A phase, so that's 21 infantry squads in A phase, no commander or leader, because that just takes too much. In B phase we have Pioneers in STKFZ 251s, and that is the only vehicle you could go for. And we also have the Panzer Grenadiers with the Panzerfaust, and in C phase more Panzer Grenadiers to hold. I have not gone for Sturm Pioneers. Possibly you could get them in B phase, but once again you only get 8 of them. So yeah, I'd rather have Pioneers and try to get rid of the enemy infantry with mortars. In the tank tab, Panzer 3Ls, you get 6 of them on lowest vet, 4 on the highest vet, which might be worth it, so that these guys are really snipers, but I mean 60% accuracy is already really good, so mid vet it is. 2 lowest vet Panther A's. In B phase we have 7 of these Panzer 4H's and 4 Panther A's. You could go for mid vet, but you only get 2, and I want to make sure that I have enough. And we also have Panther A Fures to help out any of these low vet Panthers. In B phase we also have Panther G's, 3 of these on the lowest vet, and in C phase we go all out with 2 cards of Panther G's. You might think there's a lack of Panther G's. I guess you could say that. We could possibly get these guys in B phase instead, but 3 tanks feels a little bit low in my opinion, especially in B phase. So yeah, I mean 185mm pen is possibly good enough, probably good enough. Definitely in combination with these Panzer 4H's. I've had success with this, so I think I'm just going to keep it to this. In the support tab we have the Oppo Blitz munition in A phase, 2 of those, grills in A phase as well, some supplies in B phase, and Panzer 4H's in B phase. And that is basically all I have for support. I didn't go for anything else because they take too many points and I don't find them as useful. Like the flamethrower half tracks would be really good, but like I couldn't find anything to delete really. It's pretty scary. Like you could, I guess, get rid of the Panzer 4J's since we already have so many tanks. That might be one compromise. Like if we do that, we get 3 points, which we can then spend on supplies and get the flamethrowers in A phase. That gives me that, you know, that really annoying 1 point, but that's all good. It's all good. Yeah, there's not much I can spend that on actually, so that is fine. In the anti-tank in A phase, we have 2 of these Pak 40s, and we have the Pak 40s in B phase as well. The Panzerbüchse are pretty good, but you only get 4 of them on mid-vet, and these guys you only get 2 of them in mid-vet. So, yeah, in that case, I would rather go for the Pak 40s. Anti-air, we have Möbelwagens in A phase, lowest vet, and 4 of these SDKFZ 7-1s in C phase. Now these are early in the game to quickly snipe the enemy positions, but if you want to make sure that they actually take down the enemies, you probably want to go for a mid-vet and maybe have these in A phase. But in that case you only get 1 of them. There's also another option. We could get 4 of these 20mm in A phase, just basically sprinkle them around, and get the Möbelwagens in B phase on mid-vet. And then SDKFZs later in the game. I'm banking on my air supremacy to actually do its job. So we could also just go for the lowest vet Möbelwagens and fill up A phase with Flak 38s. And I think that way there's a fair bit of balance going on there. Artillery, 120s, battery furers in B phase to help out my infantry, and the French 105 howitzers, lowest vet in B phase. So you get 6 of them. And if you have an artillery observer or leader or anything on the front line, these guys will be accurate enough to, you know, compromise for the lowest vet. In the air tab, we have the Ju-87 D3 in A phase. We have the Stukas with the 500 kilogram bombs in A phase as well to help with tanks. 3 fighters in A phase. If you're not comfortable with the low amounts of fighters, you could go for lowest vets, but I mean that only takes one plane off, so mid vet it is for me. B phase, Ju-87s once again with the 500 kilogram bombs, and 4 fighters in B phase as well. Possibly in this case it would be better to go for the lowest, like mid vet, or go for these G6 R6s in phase C, but that does leave a big gap in B phase. So if you want one more plane, you would need 3 points, meaning you would have to delete something else, meaning possibly the flamethrowers over here. But yeah, it's a big game of compromises, that's for sure. Yeah, you could also actually just get rid of the Ju-87s, because these I usually use on tanks, and in A phase I do have good tanks, but if they're blobbed up, if they're rushing you, these will definitely help with stunning those, to make it possible for you to quickly move in your tanks and take them out. But yeah, I've had success with this deck quite a few times. There's a lot of like late comebacks in with this deck, so I think I won't be tinkering with it too much, since I think it's pretty well balanced at this point. Yeah, let me know what you think. The code is down in the description in that Excel or Google Doc. Check it out. Follow me on Twitch for frequent live streams of Steel Division 2, and I'll see you guys back.